Okay, we're coming up to the second last. So I'm thrilled, as I have been with so many speakers so far, but we had the pleasure of this man's company at our last physical event before the world went virtual in London in March this year, and he gave a fantastic talk about how you can turn your CSMs into lead generators. It was a fascinating talk, so much so that Aaron Thompson, that's his name, is coming on the screen. There he is.
Hey, Peter. How are you, friend?
I was so enthused by the talk that this is a selfless promotion, but I don't care. That we're now rinsing, if you like, all the CSMs in Popular are all going to be certified. So I know they're all listening, so no pressure on my team and no pressure on Aaron either. So for those of you who don't know who Aaron is, then I'm surprised. But Aaron is the general partner at Success Hacker. And it's just a phenomenal. Aaron has been around promoting and I think it's just incredible, because the world has been crying out, well, the CS world has been crying out for some form of certification, some form of foundational skills, call it the MVP, the minimum viable product, minimum viable skills, MVS, that a CSM needs. And to have 5 levels of certification, I think is just awesome. So I'm going to hand over to Aaron, who's going to give a keynote on the Success Planner, the newest customer success role. Over to you, Aaron. I'll see you in about 27.5 minutes.
I'll do my best, and thank you so much for the opportunity. And it's a testament to your amazing leadership, Peter, that you brought us in to train and certify your entire team. But seriously, I'm delighted to be here. I love doing public speaking. I love doing keynotes. And in this odd COVID universe that we're living in right now, I get to do it in my ripped jeans. But check it out, I'm wearing a sport coat. This is a big one for me here, guys. I love these things. And I do wish we could all be in one room together like we were back in March that Peter talked about. I was lucky enough to get to come and speak with that group of leadership in the customer network. And we, at the customer conference, I should say. And I'm going to allude back to some of what I talked about then. This success planner has really been my drum that I've beaten this year. And I'm ecstatic to get to kind of revisit what we talked about in March. As well as kind of show how this is developed in the industry throughout 2020. Before I dive in, though, that's me, connector, educator, speaker. I love customer success. Founded my very first endeavor as an entrepreneur was that company there at Portland Customer Success, founded back in 2017, helping people here locally. And then now I'm a general operating partner at Success Hacker, along with our 2 co-founders, Todd and Andrew, who some of you may know. Super passionate about helping people get into and thrive within the customer success industry. And obviously, I love driving outcome-based growth. And if you were on my training taster that I just wrapped up, we talked a lot about OBS, and I took you through some kind of fundamental components of that. And that then plays right in with what we're going to be talking about over the next now I'm wrapping up at the top of the hour, 25 minutes or so. There's my LinkedIn. Please reach out and connect. I love to collaborate through social media. The thing I love about customer success, I've said it before, I'll say it again, the people. When I found this industry, I found a home, and it's because of the people. And so very collaborative industry. We all help each other out much more than I had ever seen in my career. And so if I can help any of you, please, by all means, don't hesitate to reach out. So what we're going to walk through today, I'm going to go through a brief overview of where customer success historically resides within the industry. And then I'm going to actually outline where success planning should reside. And spoiler alert, they are not the same places. And this goes back to my talk in March, actually, when I asked the group, what the heck is this? And I showed a land and expand funnel, and I thought, what if we operated here instead of there? And I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know, I just had an idea. And then, the universe is a funny place. Shortly after that conference, I literally got back to the United States the day that they shut down travel back from the UK into the US. So timing couldn't have been better. I got to be out of country as long as possible before being right here. Oh, by the way, that's a unicorn if you're unaware. That's what we do at Success Hacker. We aim to make unicorns out of CSMs. We're all unicorns. We just need the right tools. I digress. So we're going to talk about where success planning lives relative to the customer life cycle, and then I'll go through the roles and responsibilities of this new job title. And this is being used in the wild. When I got back from London in March, I was introduced to a woman who actually had implemented this role at her organization. And Gemma and I started talking, and I said, oh my gosh, you have a name for what I literally just asked the leadership in London about. I said, what is this? What if we did this? What would this be? And then a few weeks later, through LinkedIn, we didn't know each other. We connected and we just hopped on the phone to rap about all things customer success. And she said, well, we're doing this kind of new, unique thing called the Success Planner. So all the credit goes to Gemma Espiniera. She was the one who kind of introduced me and helped me wrap my head around what this concept would be. And she is doing it and using it and having amazing impact to her business. So where customer success historically resides in the enterprise, and this was what I talked about in London, up there at the top, right? Demand generation and awareness. So let me back up one slide. There we go. So at the top of that funnel is your marketing engine. That's the red, demand gen and awareness. In the middle is your sales team, helping the customer evaluate and decide. And then down at the bottom is historically where we live. Activation, optimize, etc. So the customer, we market to a whole bunch of people up top. Some of them find out about us. Some of those decide to download the ebook or attend the webinar or do whatever they got to do to get into our funnel. And then some of those will decide to become a customer. So it goes from very wide to thin. And then at the bottom, we want to expand that out. We've seen that before with activation, onboard your customers, time to value, frictionless onboarding, etc. Optimize, that's when they got their legs under them and they're realizing the business value. They know how to use the product. They know what it can do and can't do. They haven't gotten all of the business value yet, but they've gotten some. And then when we deliver that and demonstrate that, that then leads to the renewal there at the bottom of the funnel. There's where we have historically lived. Activate, optimize, renewal. And when we started as an industry, we were tasked with retention. Hold on to that revenue that we're given. That was our initial customer success revenue involvement. As an industry, where we focused was retention rates, churn rates, renewal rates. And that was what we were quoted on. And that's what, when I got my first head of customer success job, I was hired to, quote, fix the churn problem. That's what a lot of companies do. They bring in someone to operate down at the bottom of that funnel, and they expect them to do these heroic things to drive up retention. But as we all know, this has got to be a cross-departmental endeavor, this thing that is customer success. It is a corporate culture, and it applies to marketing and sales and CS, even product. When we write code, we want to be thinking like the customer. We want to be outcome aligned with what the product does, not what it is. And success planning plays right in with OBS, outcome-based selling, in that it allows us to align internally our goals and initiatives to external customers' outcomes and what they want ultimately from the product and service. Then we matured a little bit and we moved into expansion. We realized that these CSMs have this great trusted advisor relationship, this great opportunity where they can grow accounts because they're really close to those customers. They can identify opportunities and pain points that maybe an account manager can't, or the account exec cannot, because they're not working daily, weekly with those champions and delivering that value. And so we started leaning in on that to grow the accounts from the customer success perspective. Then last year, we started moving into quantifying what that is considered, an advocate. And there's customer advocacy plays and all the industries and products and everything now, and experts and professionals. And those are customer success qualified leads. You've heard of marketing qualified lead, MQL. You've heard of a sales qualified lead, SQL. Well, this is a CSQL, and that's where we're driving net new business that we didn't have to market to at the top. So we save it's about 1/13 the customer acquisition cost. And we have higher deal conversion rates, faster deal times, everybody wins. And then, of course, the ICP, ideal customer profile, helping us refine who we market to. When we do this effectively, folks, when we work cross-departmentally, what I was able to achieve in my first head of CS position was a higher marketing return on our investment because we knew our ICPs better. Because working at the bottom, we learn about our customers. We have the churn and renewal data, and we know what a good fit and bad fit customer looks like. We then partner up to the top of the funnel, and we start to refine who we market to. We have a faster sales cycle, so our deal times are faster. We have higher conversion rates because when we get the advocates, we get the warm leads. From there, a higher conversion rate results just like any word of mouth referral. We help with the evaluation stage of the buying behavior of our customer. Lower acquisition cost, about 1/13, and then of course, higher lifetime value. So there's a brief overview of how customer success operates, where we've been historically. Now let's outline where we will do success planning. And like I said, spoiler alert, it ain't the same place. So we're all down here at the bottom, delivering and demonstrating value, activate, optimize, renew, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we have been tasked with staying down there, right? And we do handoffs with sales, but we don't really work really well, oftentimes really aligned with sales, because sales job, after all, is to take the evaluation stage and make it a decision to buy. Marketing is to get them in the funnel. And so then they hand them off to us, and we're down there and we're doing all these heroic things. That's customer success management. That's where we have historically lived. And what I asked the group in London back in March, before the whole world changed, what if we operated right there? What if customer success management was no longer bottom of funnel, back of house, post sale? What if we're up there and that evaluation stage, and we get engaged with that customer to map out what success looks like? We develop and validate outcomes that they want to achieve, and that's what we sell. And we offset our risk by tacking on professional services, premium support, technical account management, training, whatever we believe it'll need, whatever we believe the customer will need to be able to achieve their desired outcome. What would that be? What would that be? Well, in short, that's success planning. That's when the success planner gets engaged at about 90% probability to close. So a success planner lives in customer success, but they operate at the top of the funnel. Folks, it gets us out of the bottom of the funnel. It makes our cross-departmental efforts easier, and it aligns with sales. We work in tandem with sales to map out what success looks like, and as importantly, how we're going to deliver that. That's what we sell. What they want is what it does, not what it is. And so we need to sell what it's going to do. That's the outcome, the result. And we need to map out how they're going to get there. That's success planning. So these two things work hand in hand. So at about, we say 75 to 90% probability to close, we engage the success planner, and they can help the deals. And what we've seen in the real world is actually higher conversion rates. Now, it's a conversation you got to have with your sales leadership, because we need to show them what's in it for them, right? Why would they want us engaged in their sale? If I'm a sales, and I am a salesperson, I look at that and I think, you're going to mess up my deals. You're going to slow them down. You're going to make them more expensive, so it's harder to close. But when this is done effectively, that's actually the opposite of what happens. Deals move faster, and we're right-sizing the contracts based on our extreme understanding of the ICP. Because again, we operate down historically at the bottom of that funnel. Now we engage the success planner at 90% probability to close. The question then is, well, how do they do that? And we have a way to do that. A lot of the technology vendors have ways to do that. They almost all of them have a success planning module, but sometimes it's not terribly effective. It can become a big book of content that nobody's going to read. And so what we sought out to develop at Success Hacker 5 years ago now is the success plan canvas. And it's intentionally restrictive. It's one page, just one page. And it has to be one page, because that makes us be succinct with our communication. And it allows us to create alignment internally and with our customer. This is, in short, our roadmap for how we're going to deliver the customer's definition of success. Not only defining what that definition is, which that also lives in here, but how we're going to deliver it. Just like a roadmap on a road trip, you would pull it out back in my day, before they had the navigation stuff. We would have to put a map. We'd have to use like Rand McNally, and we would open a big book or get a paper, literally paper. Remember paper? A paper map, and we'd put it on the hood of the car, and we'd grab a highlighter, something like this probably, and we would outline where we're going to go to get from point A to point B. And I would work with, so I'm the navigator, I'm riding shotgun, and I've got the map, and I'm working with the driver on how we're going to get from point A to point B. That's exactly what this is. This is a map that we work with. Your customer is the driver, the product is the car, and you are the navigator. The Success Plan Canvas is your roadmap. We have instructions. There's a download on successcoaching.co. You can get this for free. We have case studies done on the impact it's had on businesses. Leveraging a simplistic, intentionally restrictive format allows us to create something of intense value to create alignment. How you fill this out, first off, remember the red, demand gen, marketing, all that stuff, top of the funnel. We can identify the company highlights of who prospects are really early. If I can just get a domain, I can go to Google, or even my CRM can automatically go to Google and find out about that company. So super high in their journey, we start outlining who they are. Then mid-funnel, in that evaluation stage, the green sales part, we're going to outline the objectives, and that is their desired outcome. That is the CO of that formula, CS equals CO plus CX. I'm sure that many of you are familiar with. And then bottom of the funnel in customer success, onboarding, implementation, we fill out the 5 boxes along the bottom. And we're outlining challenges and what they want and why they want it and how we're going to measure it. And when you put this all together, it is not only the definition of success, it is the how. That's the most important thing. How we're going to get them to that definition of success. Here's an example one. I'm not going to spend much time. That's an eye chart probably for most of you, but gives you an idea of sort of what this looks like. We've got various objectives or desired outcomes in the upper right-hand corner. We've got, so in short, the objectives are what they want, the benefits are why they want it, the success criteria are how they know they got it, and the measurements of success are the quantifiable metrics that we're going to use to prove to them that we have delivered that definition of success. All right, we do this at 75 to 90% probability to close by way of a success planner or a CSM, and we're doing it all based on our extreme understanding of that ideal customer profile so that we can right-size contracts where necessary, and more, as importantly, we can align around their desired outcome. The customer's definition of success is equal to the customer's desired outcome plus the customer's desired experience. We need to understand what those outcomes are, and the success planner is how we can do that. And selfishly, folks, it gets us out of the bottom of the funnel. We as an industry know customer success is a corporate culture. It's a multi-department, cross-enterprise endeavor. It's a way to grow your business from the customer asset outwards. And we can only do that by working unilaterally across the organization. So we need roles that don't operate post-sale. If we want to be the shepherds of change to drive customer centricity through your organization, we must stop operating only in the post-sale world. We need to engage in the pre-sale side of the business. And this role allows you to do that. When we do this effectively, we get the two-way street so that it's an equitable relationship where our overhead, our expected overhead, is right-sized with what we believe it's going to take to deliver their desired outcome, so that we don't end up in those scenarios where you have got like high touch, low touch, tech touch, and you've got a tech touch customer who's taking high touch resources. That blows your whole segmentation strategy out of the water, and it misaligns it. You lose your intelligent service model, and you end up in that reactive firefighting mode. It allows us to set up a win-win relationship with our customer so that we are all, again, it's an equitable relationship. All right, and in 9 minutes, and I think we'll have a few minutes for Q&A, and honestly, I think it's on Slido, and I'm not sure where that is. We will find out. We'll get through this together, folks. Okay, so now let's go through the Success Planner job role and responsibilities, because you might be thinking, yeah, that's cool. Like, I'd love to have somebody engaged all the time with prospects at 90% probability to close. But we just don't. We don't have a full funnel all the time. So what would this person be doing if they're not up there outlining, again, top of funnel, mid funnel, bottom of funnel in the success plan canvas, and they're not out there setting up the win-win relationships that we've talked about? What else are they going to do with their time? So here's a few things that Gemma and other organizations have been using success planners to assist with when there's not an inbound lead that they're working with sales on. Data acquisition. They can be doing data analytics and maintenance. We all know how ugly our CRM data often is. So they can be working to clean that up so that we get better insights, so that we can make more intelligent decisions across our entire CS function. And so that could be in your CRM, could also be in your CSM platform. If you have a customer success technology, oftentimes we need to always be mining and refining the data that's in there, keeping it up to date. They can also help the CSM and sales team develop your business review decks. And so if there's deck prep, data acquisition, and recovery, they can be assisting the CSMs who are going to go into the boardroom and present now to the executive stakeholders. They have to spend a ton of time to prepare for those business reviews, and the success planner can assist them in that regard. EBR prep, data documentation, again, logistics, and then frankly, reactive support stuff. We've always got support tickets coming in, and somebody's got to man those and manage those and put those fires out. The success planner can help with that as well, taking those support tickets and reacting in that support role, as opposed to the proactive strategic customer success function. We'd be looking at the reactive tactical customer support. They're doing it all through the understanding of the ICP, so they need to be really good with data and tacking on the additional premium support or professional services, etc., so that, again, it's about the two-way street. This isn't just about delivering outcomes for our customers. That's first and foremost. But what it also is right-sizing and offsetting our risk when we bring on net new customers. And again, folks, selfishly, from an industry perspective, we got to get out of the bottom of the funnel. We can't be a solely post-sale function. We need to start moving up and engaging sooner with our customers. So what that looks like from an ideal skill set perspective, they need to be outcome selling, value selling, solution selling, whatever you call it, proficient. They need to be trained on how to do success planning. Whether that's our format or another format, they obviously need to understand how to map out not only what success looks like, but how we're going to get there. They need to be a consultative communicator, meaning take a consultative approach. When we communicate with a consultative approach, it comes down to three things. Number one, open-ended questions. We need to communicate with open-ended questions, so questions that could not be answered with a yes or no answer. Number two, active listening. We need to execute active listening, which is where, as you're talking, I'm summarizing in my mind what you're saying, and then I repeat back my understanding of it and ask you to confirm or deny that that's what you meant. And if I miss the boat, then we right size and we continue to communicate until I understand what you intended. And if I nailed it, you say, yep, that's what I meant. And on we go with more open-ended questions. And then third, storytelling. You've got to be good at telling stories in customer success. And so as a success planner, we need to be a consultative communicator, because that helps uncover opportunities and outcomes that we can deliver on. Data-driven decision-making, we must be good with data across CS as a whole, but definitely with the success planner role, because they're going to be in the data helping. That's going to be one of the kind of byproducts that they do. Product and value proposition savvy. They've got to know how we market and what it does, not what it is. They've got to understand what it does for customers and prospects. And again, ICP is important behind that. And then being technically advanced so that they understand CRMs and data sets and data maintenance, et cetera. So that is a summary, a high-level summary of what the Success Planner function looks like. And now, David or Peter, I think we're just opening it up for Q&A for a few minutes, right?
Absolutely, Aaron. Thank you very much. I think you did that with the same passion that you always do it in. I gotta
do something to keep everybody awake here. I know this is the end of the conference. It's been amazing. I hope you've all loved it. I'm just sorry I haven't gotten to watch as much as I want. I can't wait to twist your arm to get the recordings, Peter, because I know there's a lot out there I want to see.
Absolutely. Look, I'm just disappointed, Aaron, that you weren't wearing your red trousers. You know,
I thought about it. I was this close, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go sport coat because nobody can see me anyway. It's like a news anchor. I feel like, you know.
Yeah. Next time we'll have it as a premium add-on for the conference.
There you go. Yeah, the red pants are a premium. Yeah, that's an upsell.
So here's a few questions. How is the CS planner role different from engaging the CSM at 90% and taking a success? Oh, sorry, someone just archived the question for me.
I didn't want to ask that question after all.
Yeah. So, okay. How is the CS planner role different from engaging the CSM at 90% and taking a success role earlier in the journey?
It's really not, and it's not a matter of a difference between if a CSM does it or a success planner does it, but what you get when you slice up any of the customer success function is repeatability. And so if I'm doing the same thing all day long, just success planning, I'm going to be better at it, and I'm going to get economies of scale with it that if I wear 8 different hats as a CSM, I don't. And so it's just a bit more mature to be able to operationalize your CS function that way. But the actual ins and outs of how you would do it, it wouldn't be any different if the CSM was doing it. The sales team can also do it and then use that success plan to create that like handshake that I like to talk about, not a handoff, and help shepherd that transition to the post-sales side of the business.
How does the planner interact with the customer's eventual CSM?
In conjunction with, really. And so the planners they live in customer success. So they report to the same people as the CSMs. It's typically a job role that's like part of the career path within the CS org. And it's generally a junior position to a CSM. And so they work with them very closely in their team, but then they operate up at the top with sales. But again, like a lot of companies the funnel's not always full with 90% probability to close. And so they have other job functions that they tack into the success planner role. But it is that connective tissue between sales and the top of the funnel and operations, CS, whoever at the bottom.
Okay. One question here from Tatiana. Can an SDR do that?
I would believe so. Yeah. And I think there's probably a pretty good skill set associated with that because SDRs are typically really good at one-to-many and a lot of data, sort of analytics and stuff. So yeah, again, it doesn't have to be called the success planner. It doesn't have to be a split off role. The important thing that I'm challenging the community here today with is get out of the bottom of the funnel. Use this success planning function as a way to start knocking down your silos and get up earlier in the life cycle.
Okay, and the last one, very, very brief answer. So is AI, the emergence of AI, is that going to change what you've outlined? What impact will AI have on the processes that you've outlined there?
I would imagine machine learning and artificial intelligence is just going to help in terms of the understanding of that ICP, our ability to be predictive and understand what this prospect is going to need from an outcome perspective better as it learns over time. And so I think it'll be an important tool that we'll be able to use as part of this. But I don't think on the day-to-day function of a success planner, it really changes anything specifically.
Okay, super. Aaron, thank you very much. My last question, is that you when you were a baby, or maybe when you were about 17 or 18, was it?
Yeah, that I was not that good looking of a baby. No, that is definitely not me.
Well,
Thanks again, Peter. Appreciate it.
how much you've changed. Listen, Aaron, take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too. Take care, friend. Bye-bye.